Welcome back. The first thing I'd like to do is thank all those people that have put thumbs up on my videos, and also those that have left positive comments, because you just don't know if anybody's getting anything out of these videos or not, and that kind of lets me know that people are interested and that's helping them. So I really do appreciate that. Another thing is those that have subscribed to my channel. I'm up to 50 people now, which is 50 more than I thought I would get. So I really do appreciate that, and hopefully more will subscribe, because it does kind of motivate me to keep making these videos. So again, thank you for all those people who have done that. What I like to do is, I was thinking about just talking about the starting step in this video, but what I decided to do was, I don't know if I really talked about each step on your turn, what you need to do. And so this video is not going to be very long, because most of this stuff I have gone over. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to zoom in on, and this is on page 31 in the rule book. This is where I'm taking this from. That's where this picture is coming from. So let me scoot this over. Maybe I can get a little bit. There we go. All right, so what you do on your turn, and this is the order, and you have to do it in this order. First, it's the starting step, which I will get to. It's not a very complicated step, which is basically rally your forces, bring up reserves and air support, and spring your ambushes. There's some other things in there, but that's kind of the summary. Then, after you're done with your starting step, you go to your movement step, which I pretty well have talked about everything in the movement step you need to do, for the most part. Maneuver all your teams into position. After you're done moving all your teams, then you can start the shooting step, which is shoot at the enemy from a distance. Then when you're done with that, you go to the assault step and charge enemy defenses in fierce hand-to-hand combat. I feel like I should do a voice for all those for that. Okay, so this is the order. Once you're done with the assault step, your turn is over, then your opponent goes to the starting step, then they'll go to the movement step, shooting step, then finally assault step. So let's look at the first step you have to do. And hopefully now when you see this, you understand why I held off on doing this, because I'll explain in just a minute. So here's the starting step. This is the first thing you have to do on your turn. And you have to do them in the order shown. You don't go to 7, then jump to 3, then jump to 9, then jump to 10, then jump to 1. You don't do that. You do number 1 first. I hate saying that. You do number 1 first, then when you're done with number 1, you go to number 2, then when you're done with number 2, you go to number 3. I should just say you do it in order. Okay, so number 1, the first thing you have to do is check sole surviving infantry team. I've talked about that. Does he survive? Then you check company morale. Talked about that. And also, it's really nice, they give you the page number here. So you're not, well, where is that? Well, it tells you. Go to page 176. When you're checking company morale, go to 175. So next, so we check sole surviving infantry team. Then you check company morale. Then, because this is where you're gonna see if this first guy is going to cause you to do a company morale check. Maybe you haven't had to, but now he's causing you to. After you know, if you have to, you may not have to do company morale. Then check victory conditions. Now that is one thing I haven't talked about, and that's more mission specific. You have to look at what the mission says. You'll need to have victory for you to attain the victory, or to the opponent. Then, if this is completed, you've won the game. You just stop. If not, then you reveal any ambushes if you want to. 5, roll for air support, which I've talked about how to do that. 6, roll for reserves. I haven't talked about reserves either, rolling for them, I don't think. 7, rally pin down platoons. So it isn't automatic, remember there's a roll. 8, remount bailed out vehicles. Remember there's a roll for that one. 9, free bogged down vehicles. There's a roll for that. And 10, remove friendly smoke markers. So most of the stuff I've talked about, and hopefully it makes sense, because let's say I haven't talked about any of this, and I go, okay, check sole surviving infantry team. Then I have to go through a big explanation of what that is. Then go check company morale. Then I have to go through a big explanation of what that is. Then check victory conditions. Well, I'm not going to do that right now. Then reveal ambushes. Then roll for air support. Then I have to go through a big explanation of air support. So by holding off on this, hopefully you understand why I did that. And now soul surviving, company morale, air support, rally pin down, remount bailed out vehicle, and free bogged down vehicles is going to make a lot more sense now. So again, this is the first thing you do on your turn, and do them in that order. Then this next thing you do is the movement step. So, and again, this is more of a guide to help you. But you do first is select the platoon to move. Then if they're going to use a transport, bring it forward. Then you move the teams in the platoon. Maybe they're going to dismount instead. Take any bogging checks in rough terrain. Take any skill checks to enter buildings. And then remove transports after mounting. Then send empty transports to the rear if they're not needed anymore. And then 5, return to 1 and select the next platoon. So that's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. And I've gone through, I think, pretty much everything on that one. Then the shooting step. This one I may have to zoom out a little bit because it goes to 14. There we go. And again, they give you the page numbers. So again, this is on page 31. So the shooting step. So we're done with the starting step. We're done with the movement step. Now we're going to shooting step. And select the shooting platoon. Select the target platoons, plural, because remember you can shoot more than one platoon. You don't have to all aim at the same platoon. Decide who will shoot at each platoon. So before you roll any dice, who's shooting where? Fire, smoke, ammunition. This is the one thing that kind of gets me about this. I wish they would have done something about besides smoke ammunition, because there's two types. There's direct fire smoke, and then there's smoke bombardment. And if you're going to do a smoke bombardment, that has to be the very first shot you take, or second also, first and second if you have multiples that are going to do smoke bombardment. And then there's direct fire smoke, which has to be the first shot from that platoon. So I kind of wish they would have done a little bit more with the smoke in this. So moving on. Check that the target is valid. Well, I think you would have to do that before you fire smoke. I'm kind of getting stuck on that smoke, but to me, you have to check valid before you fire. So, rotate to face the target. Check if the target is concealed. This is another thing I think they needed to put in there was concealed and maybe 8. Check if target is concealed and gone to ground, or just gone to ground. Because there's that. They have this modifier in there, but they don't have the other one. Roll to hit, and also to 16 inches. So they could have said check for modifiers or something like concealed and gone to ground, and distance like over 16 inches. So roll to hit, allocate hits to target teams, roll saves for teams that were hit, roll firepower tests, mark or remove destroyed teams, return to 1 and select the next platoon. Then if you go all the way down, pin down platoons if hit 5 times. I didn't get that on there. There it is. So it's not 5 times from getting hit by one platoon. It's through this whole shooting step that you get hit at least 5 times. Then they're going to be pinned down, except for armored vehicles. So I had a few problems with this, but I guess I can see why they didn't put some of that stuff in there, because then the list would be humongous. One of them is the smoke, and the modifiers looks like the thing that kind of got me. Yeah, I guess it would throw me too. I guess I'd have roll firepower test if needed. I guess some of this stuff is if needed. Oh well, I'm just getting stuck on some stuff here, but don't let me what I'm saying here throw you. This is here to help you. Okay, the assault step, and I'll try to go through this one without the comments. Okay, the assault step. So again, when you are done with all your shooting, you can go to the assault, and I've talked about the assault because it is a very, very complicated subject. I don't know any game that seems like assault's not complicated when you have shooting also. So the assault step. So first select the assaulting platoon, charge into contact. The opponent conducts defensive fire. Roll to hit with assaulting teams. Roll saves for armored vehicles. Mark or remove destroyed teams. Push into enemy positions. Has assaulting team 1? If so, skip down to 10, which is victory consolidates. If not, opponent tests motivation, either counterattacks, which means they go to 2, they charge into contact, or they break off. And I've talked about them breaking off, and there's that one where you voluntarily break off with vehicles. That's really nice. Victor consolidates, finally return to 1, and select the next platoon. So this one's okay. I kind of wish they would have put something, opponent conducts defensive fire, and something about if you get hit 5 or more times you have to back off, or if the vehicle. I kind of wish they would have put something like that there, because they kind of broke down. Ooh, I'm knocking the camera around. They kind of broke down. I guess that's what's throwing me. If they wouldn't have broke this down, well, you can't even see what I'm talking about. If they wouldn't have broke this, move teams into platoon and broke it down, I guess I wouldn't have the problem with them not breaking this down. But that's just a little nitpicking here. This is mainly a guide to help you. Once you figure out how to play the game, my opponent and I don't look at this. The one thing we always look at whenever we're playing a game is this. And we made a, I think it was like WWPD, I think it's .net, what will Patton do.net. They have it's all on an 8.5 by 11. And we just follow that, because there are times in the middle of the game you'll forget, oh my gosh, I forgot to do my ambushes. Or I forgot to roll for them being bailed out. I totally forgot they were bailed out. This reminds you, oh, do I have anybody bailed out? So me and my opponent and I still use this. We don't even look at the rest of it, because we know how to do the rest of the game. It's like I said, once you start playing, the rest of the movement step, shooting step, and the assault step kind of, except for the assault step, that one's the little tricky one. But we definitely still look at this every time to help us. All right, well, that's all I got for this video. And again, I thank those that did the thumbs up, or the, actually, I'm zoomed in, that's why it's not working. Here we go. Now it's a thumbs up. And any positive comments, and those that have subscribed, I really do appreciate it. So, until next time, have a good game.